What's up? What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the Tough Runs Don't Last podcast. Sorry, I just love Michelle's intro. It tickles me a little bit before we click record. I am your host, Graham Powell, co-host Michelle Zangulis on the other screen, who's still a little bit giggly. Say what's up, Michelle.
What's up, Michelle?
Lots of things running and life, and we will get into all of that here in a sec. First, let's give a quick shout out to our sponsor. This show, the Tough Runs Don't Last podcast, is presented by Rhino Races. Rhino Races is a virtual race series that offers 5 different races: a 5K, a 10K, a half marathon, a marathon, and the Rhino Ultra. You can sign up for one or all 5 of their races at rhinoraces.com. Run your race at your convenience, track it with your fitness app of choice, screenshot your results as proof of completion. Submit that screenshot to rhinoraces.com under the submit results section. And once your results are verified by Rhino Races staff, your award will be shipped to you by mail. Also, check out their gear section for t-shirts, wristbands, decals, and more. That's rhinoraces.com. Rhino Races is the premier virtual running series, and you can find us, the Tough Runs Don't Last podcast, on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow us on X at TR Don't Last, and same handle for Instagram and TikTok.
That's us.
Did I cover everything?
Yes.
All right, I'm going to get this eventually. Although technically I kind of did there. I could have finished a little bit stronger there, but we'll have more episodes to come and I'll continue to improve. Okay, so my race schedule resumed yesterday, Saturday morning. And I had really a month and a half off from racing. Now we did do a 5K, so I guess it wasn't technically a month and a half, and I did go race pace in that. The MacArthur Park 5K. That's the last time I really I guess went at race speed. Not workout speed, not pacing speed. And it wasn't I mean, it was humid, right? It was humid that night, but it wasn't hot. Um, Saturday was both. Yesterday morning in Batesville, historic downtown Batesville, Arkansas, and it was very nice. Like I had to get up at because Batesville is an hour and 10 minutes, an hour and 20 minutes from where I live. So I got up at 5 a.m. The race was at 8. Got up at 5, let the dog out, all that, fed the cat, and got ready. The good thing about it was a 4 mile race. So the good thing about it, there wasn't really any prep involved. Just throw your clothes on and grab some water and go. So I did that. It was cool, actually. I was thinking, man, I wish I would have brought my jacket home from work. I mean, it was cool outside. And then I got there and it was still cool. I got there at 7 a.m., an hour before the race. So I got a great parking spot, which you never know. But yes, great parking spot. I was maybe 20 yards from, or nah, yeah, 20 to 40 yards from the start. I mean, you can't beat that as far as parking. So I get out, I go get my packet, see my run club, go to the bathroom, all that stuff. Just number one, thankfully, because there was only one stall for that. And and before the race, there was quite a line of dudes waiting to go number two. And I was thinking, man, I'm really glad I don't have to do it. And I'm talking like 10 minutes before the start. So I do all that and I get out there. I'm like, okay, it's time to go. So I get out there and I'm standing at the start. I'm talking to my buddy. They're in my running club, and I can just feel the sun. I can feel the sun on me. I'm like, yeah, that's it. Got hot really quick. I am no longer cool. And it was officially the first hot and humid race of the year. I mean, you knew it was coming because I mean the summer schedule is officially underway, and that's 5Ks and 10Ks and those type of races, and that's all there will be really until this fall. But I got my first experience with that yesterday. I thought I was ready for it, and I was not. You cannot simulate heat until you're actually out there in it, especially at race speed. And yeah, it got me. I told you a little bit about it. What was first of all, what was my description to you about it afterward?
I don't remember.
You'd kind of just woken up too, I think.
I had literally just woken up. Had been awake less than 5 minutes, so I do not remember what you said.
Well, it was an 8 a.m. race, so and it was a 4 mile race. I'll just recap it. So I come out pretty hot. All right. I am like I'm probably, I think my first mile was like, I think it was a 7:16 pace, which is pretty fast for me. And by mile two, I was still under eight. I was still under 8 minutes per mile. Mile three, I was tired, but I had hit I remember looking at my watch after mile three or right at mile three and thinking, man, if this were a 5K, I'd be doing great. I would have come in under 24 minutes if it were a 5K. I remember that. I remember looking at my watch and thinking that. By mile four, I was done. I was I was exhausted, and I was blown up. And by blown up, I mean just I was spent. I was hot. And I can handle the heat pretty well, really about as well as anybody I know. But that doesn't mean that other people, aren't better at it than me, at least as far as shape wise and thriving and just continuing on and just overall just better runners than me. And so there were a lot of hills. Batesville is a pretty hilly area, and we went through a lot of those. And we were downtown, we were in the middle of town, but man, we've had lots of hills, lots of inclines, and there was a bridge in particular that you go over at the end. And I never want to like the only race I've walked like stopped and walked in two times. There were well more than two. It was the like I've discussed on here before, the Eureka 5K in Eureka Springs where you're running straight uphill for a quarter mile. I've never been able to run that whole thing. And there was a Toad Suck 10K in 2018, I want to say. It was really hot that day, and I had just gone out too hard, and I was gassed, and I stopped and walked a couple of times. I remember that. And but those are the only times I've walked during a race. Of course, I've done it, like stopped and walked some in halves and marathons and things like that when I wasn't in as good a shape. But those are the two of like that kind of distance that I stopped and walked. I did not do that yesterday, but the fact that it even crossed my mind of stopping and walking that hill just told me how gassed I was and how basically just all of it combined, the heat, my exhaustion, my lack of being ready for it, and yeah, everything. Heat, incline, me not being as ready as really I could have been, just the fact that it even crossed my, because I knew I'd hate myself if I stopped and walked. So I was like, no, don't do it. Don't be a baby. Just push through and like slow down, but do not stop and walk. So I get over it, and then I see the finish. I look at my watch. I'm like, okay, I'm a quarter mile away, and I started to get some life back in me. And yeah, across the finish line. The cool thing about it was they had the like city fire department had one of their trucks there, and they had their ladder or whatever it is raised, and they were spraying water like at the finish. Like it was like a massive, the biggest sprinkler you've ever seen in your life, like overhead sprinkler. And so you got to run through that and just get like a feeling of like, like as you're, I mean, because it was hot and everybody was hot. I crossed the finish line. I could hear my buddy say, good job, Graham." And I'm so gassed I can't acknowledge it or anything like that. I grab the little girl grab like handing out medals. I grab it and I could feel her arm jerk a little bit as I grabbed it. Not that I grabbed it hard or anything. Just maybe she didn't know I had a full grip on it and didn't let go. I could feel myself tugging her a little bit, but I was too tired to say, well, it wasn't a sorry, it wasn't sorry worthy, apology worthy, but I could just feel myself tugging her a little bit, if that makes sense. And I just see my survival mode sees like a shaded area. It's the drive through of a bank. And so I just go and I just sit down there next to the first lane where they push out the little drawer. I just sit there and just recover for I sat there for probably a good 5 to 10 minutes, just stayed there, and we were all gassed. Like everyone was very tired.
Oh, we have a distraction.
Yeah, sorry, I heard a noise what I thought was behind me, and no, it's my dog. I thought he was in the other room. Turns out he's right there.
Um,
Okay, so
we now
yeah,
have a cat.
yeah, Dexter's there. Your cat's the most curious or mean of them has made his self known.
Yes.
A very, very much so, trying to full on take over the show. And yeah, so I stayed there a good 5, 10 minutes. Uh, one gal crossed, and she's at a lot of these. She's in a different running club, but I see her at all these races. She crosses the finish line and basically kind of comes over to where I am, or not by me, but within my eyesight. And she's sitting there just dry heaving. I'm like, "Up, is it coming? Like, is it coming?" And I'm still recovering. I know what she's going through because I never came close to vomiting, but I understood why that was happening. She never did. She goes over and lays in the grass, and like her friend and boyfriend or whatever, they're like in. It was kind of funny watching them because they were in like chivalry panic mode. Like, "Oh, she get her some water," kind of thing. I'm like, and it was just kind of funny to watch. Like, "Guys, she's gonna live. Calm down." Um, but that was kind of funny to me. They were doing the right thing. I just found it a little bit over the top and panicky, and I got a little tickled by it. But it was a very tough race. Like I remember telling you this. It was the toughest race of the year that I've done this year in the sense of like combining everything. My pace, the difficulty of the course, lots of inclines, very hilly, and the temperature. It was very hot, and humid. So all that combined, and with it being the first summer race of the season, yeah, it was very tough. And but I enjoyed it too. Like it was weird. Like I needed that. I needed to be humbled. I needed to sweat that much. It just felt good. I mean, you feel like you just like got all every bit of toxin out of your body after doing something like that. And just exerting yourself to the point of that level where you feel like you almost have to stop and walk. But you don't. You keep going. And there's just something very satisfying about that to me to be able to get through that. Maybe it's just that you enjoy slash cherish the things that are the most difficult. So maybe that's the case there.
Maybe. I don't know.
So what did you do this week, Michelle?
Um, I worked and I went
We-
fishing.
We're talking. Yeah, we were talking exercise. Are you counting that?
Sometimes. I did like go and tour a facility where I was like walking constantly for an hour and a half. So
If we're just going to talk about the things you did this week in general, I mean, you'd have to throw your bread making in there. Tell us about your bread making.
I made more bread. I made 3 loaves of bread today. I started it yesterday and I baked
Either
them.
you're cutting out or frozen. Technical difficulties here.
What about now?
I hear it now, although it says it says my internet connection is unstable, although I don't think that's the case. Maybe it is. So I don't know what all is going to inter overlap here. Or whose connection was messed up there a little bit. Probably mine. I'll take the blame for it. But you were discussing your bread making. So
Yes,
continue, please. Hopefully you don't freeze up on me this time.
I hope not. I made 3 loaves of bread this weekend. Last weekend did I make 4 loaves of bread last weekend?
I'm not keeping track.
I think so.
I don't have a
Um,
loaf tracker for Michelle.
so yeah, I'm making bread. It's fun. It tastes
Did
delicious.
you hang on? Did you really think I'd remember the number of loaves of bread that you made?
No, I don't remember.
Okay.
And so it was more of like a general question asking the universe if they remember.
No, okay. Well, maybe they do. I don't know. I sure didn't.
Yeah, I don't know. Um, but it's delicious. Highly recommend homemade
Well,
bread.
some of it. You didn't like some of it. You made like a. All right, you've made. Tell us the types of breads you made. Like a chocolate sourdough,
Yes,
a jalapeno cheddar, which was really the only one that I would be interested
yes.
in. And what was the other kind?
Lemon blueberry. The lemon blueberry was not my favorite. I did not like it at all. But I don't really like blueberry, so I don't know why I chose to make a lemon blueberry.
I was wondering that. I mean, did you just go to the see what was in your cabinet or what you had and just combine those two?
Kind
Did you
of,
take
yeah.
okay? Did you take an edible beforehand? And
No.
um, that's usually where those ideas are inspired.
No, it's a very popular loaf on the social media, and so I think that's where I got it. Like a lot of people make it, and so I thought I might like that. I did not like that at all.
Social media pages are you following?
One's about sourdough bread.
Okay, apparently.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I have the Sunbeam bread that I got from the Walmart. It's good. It's still pretty fresh. I toasted it the other day, the other evening. Made scrambled egg sandwiches with it, and then I made some peanut butter sandwiches this week too.
I made a Dutch pancake yesterday with the sourdough discard. That was delicious.
Sourdough discard, like just the leftover batter.
Yeah, kind of.
What is it?
So when you make sourdough, you have a sourdough starter and you feed that with flour and water and it grows. And that's what you use to make sourdough bread. And when you you have to discard it before you can feed it again. Otherwise, it just grows uncontrollably. And so when you have like this discard, you can make different things with it. And so it's called a Dutch pancake. It was very good.
Okay, well, we're talking carbs on this show apparently, so I mean it has to do with running, kind of, sort of.
Kind of.
Yeah, I had a breakfast burrito from Nova Joe's in Batesville after the race yesterday, and some coffee. I had a hot macchiato. It's weird. It's odd going to a new coffee place that you're unfamiliar with. You don't know really the ordering process. I
Mhm.
go and I'm like, I'll have this, a medium this. And he just assumed I wanted ice, which I don't know why I gave off that vibe, but I was like, no, I want it hot. And he was like, what flavors? And then it was like I was like, are those the flavors on there? He goes, technically, no. And I was like, well, okay. And he goes, well, our truck didn't come with so and so this one particular ingredient, so we can't make like 10 of these orders because of that. And I said, okay, you can't go wrong with a macchiato, so I'll just go macchiato. And it was very good. I asked for a receipt, and I go up to the window, and he forgets to give me the receipt, and then I get my food, and I'm looking for the receipt, and he goes, "Oh, and here's that receipt. I'm sorry." So I grab the receipt, and then I just pull up to a spot and I start eating, and I look, and I'm like, I didn't pay $6 for all this, and it was the wrong receipt, and I was like, okay, well, I don't need it bad enough to go back and ask for another receipt. So I ate my burrito and I left and I sipped my coffee on the way home. I did enjoy the drive home. Going up to the race, I was thinking, man, I'm going to do this race. I'm going to come home and shower and like go to sleep. And I knew in the back of my mind that was never going to happen. Like by the time the race was over, I was awake. I was like, pumped. I went and had a really good, I say I had a really good run. I can't describe it. I guess I can. I can do my best. I gave my absolute best effort. And could I have been more ready for it? Yes. But would I have done anything differently? No. And the reason for that is I got a lot of stuff done just on the personal life side of things that had to be done, or I had to sacrifice certain things time wise, including training, in order to get these other things done. So would I have rather gotten in, 3 to 5 more training runs in to have possibly a better time yesterday in order to not get those other things done? No. So, could I have been more prepared for the race? Yes. But am I, was I willing to do what I had to do in order to make that happen? No, because I had other things that had to get done, life and balance and things like that. And I say because I was like, man, you're not training as hard. And it's like, dude, you've been out at 9 p.m. You were out at 9 o'clock Wednesday and Thursday night out getting your miles in. Like, shut up. You're doing work. So I was hard on myself, but I wasn't, if that makes sense. I knew it was the best effort I could give. But could I technically have been better prepared for it? Yes. But at the same time, is that something I was willing to do? Considering all the other things I have going on? No. So I was weighing all that in my head. Not on the drive home. On the drive home, I was blasting tunes the whole way. I'm usually a podcast guy in a long car ride, but if I'm upbeat and I'm in a good mood, it's definitely tunes. Like I snapped a few of those to you on the way home.
which is dangerous. You should not be.
Nobody condones. Nobody's condoning it. I'm just saying it happened.
It did happen, but can't go back in time. Can only change the future.
I wouldn't change it. I had a great time doing it. I have no regrets when it comes to that. One of them was the new Eminem track, Houdini, which I don't know how many songs now are titled Houdini, but it's not just that one. I know of the Dua Lipa one, which is also a very catchy tune. Uh, I sent you the music video to
Yeah.
Eminem's Houdini
Yes.
because I heard that it dropped. A Facebook friend of mine posted it, and that's how I knew it was out. I say Facebook friend because whenever we see each other in real life, we don't talk to each other. Um, it's like that. But I watched it and I was like, this is very this is very Eminem. Like this is very like 2000 early 2000s Eminem. Like that's what popped into my head. And even the intro of the song, it's like, Shady's back.
Mhm.
Like that's the reference. And it was a cool video, very catchy song, very well done. I mean, it's very Eminem. Very 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 solid work from him. What did you think of the video song itself?
The video was just weird. Um,
Why was it weird? It was very Eminem. If you know anything about Eminem music videos, especially in the early 2000s, it was very on brand.
and I know nothing about that. So it was just, I thought it was a weird music video. It turned like comic book-esque, which was not what I was expecting. And he was basically just like chasing himself down and then
No,
combined
uh,
his
no, hang
past.
on. Let's describe it correctly. It's current Eminem, black hair, beard, and he is, confronting Slim Shady, basically, like 2000s, early 2000s Eminem. The basically the storyline of the song, if you pay attention to the lyrics, is what would the old him think of this new era? And you can see him coming in the video, coming out of like a time portal and just looking around like, what the hell is this? You know, and just going to wreak havoc on everything, which is what that version of Eminem did and made him huge. And it's just basically those two colliding and then kind of meshing into one on this very cool punching each other. And then there's like a big fusion explosion, and then they become the Unholy Alliance, as it's dubbed, I believe. Um, but yes, I just wanted to paint the picture because there is a story involved. So continue, Michelle, with your critique of it.
I mean, that's really all I have. There's a fun cameo at the end that I wasn't expecting that I won't give away because it was funny to me that this celebrity just appeared in the music video.
The
Uh,
guy driving.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Right. I had forgotten about that until you mentioned.
yeah. But I mean, that's all I got. I don't have an opinion.
Well, I enjoyed it. I blasted it again on the way home a couple of times. Like I hit the that's how much I like the track. I hit the repeat one more time and before moving on. But yes, it was very on point Eminem, and yeah, I'm a fan of it. I don't know what else is to come with the I assume the early part of the song, the horns coming out of your forehead part was a shot at Machine Gun Kelly, which um, I love the pettiness and the beef between those two. I love that rap beef is back. Of course, there's the Kendrick Lamar Drake thing going on. I still haven't heard any of those tracks, by the way. Which is kind of funny because my 12-year-old niece asked me if I've heard the tracks. Like, no, I still haven't. Um, but I love that that's back. The pettiness is back, especially when it's cleverly done. And I thought Eminem's latest was cleverly done. I mean, all his stuff is pretty cleverly done. But yeah, so you're not getting just running on this show again, ladies and gents, and everyone in between. You're getting bonus content. You're getting uh, carbs with Michelle's bread making and um, Eminem's new music video. All right, let's go back to the race from Saturday. I have my shirt on. I like it. It's a 2X. It's fairly bad as I hit my microphone here. It's basic. It's with the bill of my cap, but it's very comfortable. Nice material. I dig the shirt, but I really dig this metal that I'm now showing you all on screen. For those of you watching on Spotify and YouTube, it is it's a thin metal, but I can't really put. I like that it's got a little bit of weight to it, and it's not like it at first glance it looks like just kind of your plastic metal that's just kind of one of those really cheap metals that nobody really wants. Even at that point I'm like, I don't even need a metal, like just give me my official finish time or whatever. But this is like a metal or something. I can't, like metal, I can't really explain what I dig about it. I just like it. Maybe it's that, maybe it's the material.
Maybe it's just because it's different too. Like it's not your ordinary finisher's metal.
maybe not. I don't know, but I like it. Even I even brought my bib, made sure it was handy. It's not the cheap bib we had at the MacArthur Park 5K. It's very durable.
Yes.
Stayed on my leg the whole time. Uh, that still trips me out about the MacArthur Park 5K. Like my metal was, or my bib was completely ripped up. Like before I could eat, and as I took it off, it was falling apart. Like that was wild to me. It's like, don't even have. Why did we even have a bib?
It was for the finishers video. They had a video so you could see your finish. That's the only reason. Because we
Okay,
had um like the shoe timing chips, so it was just for the video.
okay, I guess that's all right. But I would invest a little bit more to have a better bib than what we had. That's my only real critique of the race. It can't be that much more. And I know that a lot of people will say things like that, like, "Why is this race so expensive?" It's like, well, you're getting a medal, you're getting a finisher medal, you're getting a shirt. There are permits for these things, all that kind of stuff. Um, Drink, food, and drink or afterwards. Yeah, these things cost money, people. Shocker. But as far as the bid goes, it's not that much. It's not that expensive as far as getting a slightly higher quality of bid. I'm not saying one that it has to be the most bougie thing with the timing chip on it. I'm saying I just don't want it to fall apart as I'm running. Like if you get a little bit of sweat on it.
Yeah, mine was like the the holes needed to be reinforced because mine were ripping just putting the bib um on at that race.
Yeah, it was basically like taking a piece of paper and putting it on you and
Yeah.
just hoping that would hold up. It was about the same thing. Um, we did not have timing chips as far as like the kind you put on your shoe yesterday, and they weren't the timing chip was not on the bib there. It was these things, if you can even see them on screen.
Interesting. It looks like a computer chip, like
And
a
that's
see-through computer chip.
and that's really what it is. And I've been a part of races where these we've had these before, but I never really knew how to put them on. And like everybody would just they would say you can either at the races I've done where they've had these, which is a handful of times, these types of timing chips. You're supposed to put one on each shoe, or the other option is you can get like pins and like pin them to like the sides of your shorts, like one on each side. And that's what I usually had done, just because I was like, oh well, if that's an option, I'll just do that. And I could have done that yesterday, but I was like, when I went to go get my packet, um, I was with a group of people, and some of which were in my running club, and I'd go up there, I give my name, and which I don't know what the deal is with my last name, but people never hear me say it correctly. Like I say, I just go up there, I'm like, last name Powell, first name Graham, and I try to say it clearly. And usually people think I say Howell. I don't know why. Um, like last name Powell, first name Graham. What did you hear when I said that?
Well, I know your name, so
But
I,
what did you hear just now when I said that?
I heard Powell.
All right. Well, she's looking all confused, like on the list, and she goes, "Did you say Pile?" I'm like, "No, I said Powell." I mean, I wasn't frustrated or anything because I'm used to this at this point. But I said, "No, Powell, like Powell, first name Graham." And so she finds it, hands me my like shirt, and she hands me these, and she goes, "The timing chips for those of you listening in your car or wherever." And she says, "Does everybody know how to put these on? Y'all probably do, I imagine." Everybody's shaking their head, yeah. And so I just go along with the crowd because I don't want to be the one guy that doesn't know. So I I go back to my car with this stuff, and first I Google and YouTube how to put these things on, like because I've got time before the race. I'm sitting there. All right, I'll just look it up, not thinking there are people around I could ask. Right? I'm like, no, I'm gonna figure it out myself. Going typical man stuff, and I can't find anything uh, online about these. Maybe if I knew the exact name of them, I could. Like, what would you call these?
Clear timing stickers.
I put in clear timing tags, I think. Um, and I tried other keywords and couldn't figure it out. But I started to pin them, and I said, "No, just." Common sense kind of kicked in a little bit. You see this little loop here? I said, "No, just tie it. Just put it in between your shoelace, and then tie your shoe." And so I did that, and I'm walking around before the race. I go to the bathroom a couple times. Number one, and when we in the bathrooms, there were no porta potties or anything. We had to go down to what was this old movie theater turned into kind of like an just kind of a banquet hall slash auditorium thing. It was a pretty neat setup actually inside. And that's where we go to the bathroom. And it was a little ways down from the start, maybe I don't know, 100 yards or so. And so I walk back and forth, and I'm looking around at I'm just looking around at everybody's shoes. I'm like, okay, how does everybody have these on? Thinking that it'd be like a universal way. No, everybody's got them on like different. Like some of them have them like in the middle of their shoe somehow. Um, some of them have them off to the sides, like me, like they were just hanging on the side through the shoelace, and then it was just different stuff. And so finally, I'm there by that old movie theater, and I see a girl that I don't know, and I just lean over. I'm like, I saw that hers was on similar to mine. I said, "So is this how you put this on?" And then I explained to her the situation. I said, "When I was up there, the lady asked, does everybody know to put these on?" And I didn't want to be the one guy that didn't know, so I just went along with the crowd there." And she was basically like, "Yeah, I think that's how we do it. I mean, we're not." And I was like, "You're probably not the only one in that boat." So, but that's how I do have it. And so I was like, "Okay, I guess it's fine. And if there's something going wrong with with my time after the race, then I guess I'll know whether or not it was wrong." I say that I actually saw my club president and another person walking, and I was like, "Okay." So I went up to him. I was like, "All right, so y'all have yours on, same as me." And I tried to explain the situation, and some guy came in and like kind of interrupted, and I was like, "Okay, well, it's done. It's good." So, hey, I got to pick this thing up. All right, so and then we go to the start, have the race, and then the rest is history there. They did have a lot of Gatorade and water, which I was appreciative of. It was those smaller Gatorades. I had probably four of them.
Mhm.
I wouldn't admit that there, but I will on the show. I had about four of them, and I had grabbed a couple of bottles of water. I started to grab a banana, or I did, and I had it, and then I felt like the back of it, and it was just mushy on the back. And I was
Yeah.
like, okay, that's not a good banana. So I went and put it back at the table. Didn't get any food there. There was a free beer voucher in there if you went to this. It was like a pizza pub kind of place, I think, that was local. And is Batesville, is it Independence County?
I don't know.
Can you Google that real quick? It's Independence or Izzard, something with an I. We're gonna figure this out.
Independence.
Okay, I was like, I think it's Independence County because my grandma is from the Batesville area. My family has land in Evening Shade because my mom had mentioned going up to the farm and checking out the work that had been done up there. And that's a good 30-minute drive from Batesville. And I was like, I'm not going to feel like doing that. I'm going to come home to my dog and just relax. And that's what I did. So I know Batesville. pretty well. I'd say better than the average person, at least that isn't from there. Um, but yeah, overall, I give it was an A+ race. Well done. I loved that it was challenging as far as the hills and stuff go. It hurts in the in the moment, but I appreciate it afterwards. If that makes any sense whatsoever.
It makes sense. Especially since you, like at the beginning, you were meeting almost all of your goals easily. So it's nice to see you struggle a little bit.
Okay, you mean like as far as every race goes,
What do you mean?
that we've the goals I've set for myself
Yeah. Yeah.
beforehand, minus to that 1 mile race
Yeah.
that day that I didn't come close to.
No.
But I explained on that show that I'd met every goal I needed to. Like, I guess I didn't set my goals high enough. Well, I found out that day. I had no goal going into. I thought at first I thought you meant this race itself in particular. I had no idea. I'd never done a 4 mile race before. I had no idea what to expect.
Yep.
Like my buddy goes, or I asked him, I was like, what are you going for? And he said, I'm gonna try to go under 30. He said he had a training run right at like 30:10, and he asked me what I was going for, and he jokingly said 25. I was like, no. I was like, yeah, that. I had no idea what to expect. I had never done a 4 mile race, so I didn't know. Like I hadn't done a 2 mile race in 20 plus years. Back in March, February, whatever it was, when it was the Chase Race 2 miler in Conway. So I didn't know how I was going to do. I was like, maybe I can sub. I was like, anything below 15 or below is a win. I came in I came in at 14, like 19 something that day. I didn't know what to expect in the 2 mile, or excuse me, the 4 mile. I didn't know. I was like, well, I guess we'll go find out. I didn't think I could sub 30. I knew I'd have to really have a good day for that. The course would have to, a lot of things would have to happen for that to happen for me. Plenty of people did it yesterday, not me. Uh, yeah, it would have had to have been a flat course, 50 degrees outside. I'd have to be in tippy top shape. And I came in, I think my official time was 31:20. I believe that was the case. What are you giggly about?
My dog is going a bit crazy right now. I'm so sorry.
What are you sorry for? Dogs do that. Mine's, in the last chapter of his life, and he's just in there making noises like he's sick, and he's got a chronic bronchitis, but I can't tell if it's a severe hack or not. So I'm paying attention to that. What does your dog do?
There was a noise outside, and so he jumped into protect my house mode. And now he's currently jumping at the door. So,
Well, we can see him for those watching on Spotify and YouTube. We had a brief pause because midnight, Michelle's Great Dane slash horse had jumped on the door, supposedly, and he never does that. He was going into protect mode. What was Midnight actually doing?
Midnight was trying to eat the bread that was cooling on the counter. So he jumped. It sounded like he jumped on the back door, but he actually jumped on the countertop.
Give that dog a snack. He's the size of a horse. He's hungry.
He gets plenty of food and drink in this house. He does not need bread.
Maybe he doesn't need bread, but if he had more food, like I try. Well, Dexter's different. He can't keep anything down right now. So as much Like I gave him a prednisone pill this morning, just thinking maybe that could break up some of that mucus and stuff and help him out a little bit. And he like 10 minutes later, he just threw up a whole lot, and I was like, well, that just killed that.
Wow.
Um, so basically, it's different for him. But your dog would probably eat an entire bag of food if you let him.
Oh, absolutely. He does not know how to stop himself. He is very food motivated and will eat and eat and eat and eat, and then he'll get sick and continue eating,
So just no self control, basically.
basically.
My mom has a dog like that, a really big girl named Marley. We love her to death, but she has a full on eating disorder uh in the sense that she's a big old gal. Um but it's I don't know, it's not a laughing matter. We love her to death, but at the same time it is a little bit. Okay, so lots of stuff. All right, again, life and running, and you never know what you're going to get here on the Tough Runs Don't Last podcast. My next race is there is a 1 mile, I think. So this thing is called the Soma Mile, 1 mile race. I think it's Friday night. And I didn't know Soma was an area of Little Rock. Um, but there's apparently a 1 mile race there. I believe the Little Rock Roadrunners put it on. I could be wrong about that, but I think that's the case. I do not plan to do that though. I had mentioned I would kind of like to go to a Travelers game next weekend, but we will because I know they're in town. But we'll see what happens between now and then, whether or not I'm able to do that. But my next race is in your hood in 2 weeks. So not this weekend, not this coming weekend. So not next weekend. Let me just try to describe this better. Not next weekend, but the weekend after that. I believe it's June 15th.
That is correct.
Yes, it's a 2 mile race in Benton. So I don't know what my goal for that's going to be. I'll say as long as it's in the 14s, I'll be happy. I don't know if that's going to happen because it's going to be hotter than it was in Conway. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that, but that will be the goal. It's 14 something. I'll put it that way.
Okay.
Because we are probably not because we're not going to have a show next weekend, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, Michelle will be on vacation and it's just not quite the same without her quirkiness. So we will probably will not have a show next weekend or yeah, next weekend, but we'll be back the weekend after that. All right. So what are we missing? There are other things that popped into my head, but then they went away.
I do think we just need to fill our listeners in on who actually caught a fish last weekend and who did not catch a fish because we told them we were going fishing and that we had goals.
We did.
We did. And so I feel like we do need to update them on which one of us met our goals and which one of us did not.
You've been sitting on this the whole episode, haven't you?
I have.
All right. Well, we set the over under last week at 2.5 fish. We didn't come close to that.
We came close-ish. One of us came close, the other one did not.
No, no, it doesn't count. If you catch a fish, like it doesn't officially count that you caught a fish until you have the thing like in your hand and then you throw it back, or like at least on the dock.
Technically, I caught a fish and a half. And if we're going to say that it had to be on the dock, both fish got to the dock.
No,
Yes.
you caught one fish and it was a little baby.
It was a
And
little baby fish.
yeah, you should post it on our socials just to show everyone. Um, but yeah, it was a little guy, and of course we threw it back, a little catfish.
Yes,
But the other, it was a decent sized catfish, it looked like.
it
And you
was.
had the thing all the way to the pier. I
Yes.
say dock, but it was a pier we were on.
Yeah.
and basically you were too far back, and then as you're reeling it up, it hits the pier and bounces off and goes back into the water.
It got to the dock though. Like it was there.
No, it hit it and then went back into the water. So you caught one fish. I caught zero. So that's what you really want me to say.
Yes, I need the people to know.
Yes, I caught zero. I feel like I caught one, and then it swam under a log, and then everything got trapped, and then my I was unable to get it out, and it broke my line.
Yeah.
So I didn't catch. I got a ton of bites. I got a whole lot of bites.
We did feed a lot of fish.
Yes, I mean I got a ton of bites, and I mean the worm would be completely off the hook, and I had that thing on there as much as you about as well as you could get it on there.
Yeah, they were very smart fish.
Yeah, the score was Fish 20, Graham and Michelle 1.
Yes.
Like I mean, we got blown out,
Yeah,
and we actually went yesterday too.
we did.
After I got home, and we had talked about fishing, and then I was like, "Well, if we're gonna go, I'd like to go now, just so I don't have to get in the shower. Because when you go out and fish this time of year, you're gonna get sweaty and gross anyway. So it's like, no, I might as well just go now while I'm still just gross." So that's what we did. Probably wasn't a smart move because I mean we got nothing. There was no bites and nobody did. There were a lot of people out there and nobody had any luck.
No.
So it wasn't just us. I managed to do something with my line. I got hung up and had to, break the line. So and then I restrung it. And as I'm getting ready to cast after rehooking and weighing and corking and all that, it just something happened and like the line had come off the little, I don't know what you call it, the thing you put it on to keep everything intact.
The reel.
Well, yeah, but the part of the reel that like goes to like through the holes and the end of the pole, that kind of thing. And it had just come off. And so everything was chaotic. So I had to cut that and then make sure everything was strung correctly. And I at least got to cast out several more times after that before we got out of there.
Yes.
And so the poll is ready to go now for next time. But yeah, no luck. I would say next time we go fishing, we probably need to plan the time of day better, either morning or like right before evening.
Yes. Because even when we went last weekend, we didn't start getting bites until like 6:30-ish. Um, we were out there a little bit before they started biting.
Yeah, and my arms, I don't know that you can really tell, but they're getting quite dark. Um, but I mean, yeah, I have a full on farmer stand going at the moment, which I'm cool with that. I probably need to get like sleeves or something. I did enjoy the fishing hat I got, or basically the outdoors hat I got at Walmart yesterday. And I didn't have to, and I basically like for the hat, it was a $20 hat, and for a thing of worms, I paid like $6 for it because I got some points from my credit card. Like awesome. So great time for me to do that. But yes, for everyone listening, Michelle caught more fish than I did. It's
I
Michelle 1, Graham 0 still, and we've had two trips to this point.
Yes.
So I would say different time and probably different destination too
Yeah.
next time because that's as much as and I enjoyed yesterday and each time. I mean, if anything, just going out there and throwing a line and just relaxing is fun for me. But it's a lot more fun when you actually catch a fish.
It is. It definitely is.
So we'll give an update on that as time passes. But all right, so did I say okay? Yeah, the I think it's called the Arkansas Runner 2 mile race. I believe that's what it is. Let me go to this is the one in 2 weeks in Benton. Let me go to my race registrations as I delete some random emails in the process.
Don't get distracted now.
I can't stand it. Like, just all right.
It is the Arkansas Runner 2 mile.
It is. The Arkansas Runner 2 mile. It'll be Saturday, June 15th at 7:30 a.m. The start and finish is located at the Boys and Girls Club in Benton. It gives you the address here and everything, so very detailed. Shout out to them for that. All right, so that'll be Saturday, June 15th. That'll be my next race. Are you going to be back then, or are you going to be gone?
Yes, I will be gone.
So
You
that's in 2 weeks.
yes.
When are you coming back?
The 15th.
Okay, so you will be back that day.
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to be able to have a show the following that Sunday.
Yes.
That's what was going through my head. I was like, we can't be off 2 weeks in a row. Like we take our weeks off here and there just for personal life and stuff.
Yes.
Like we can't be gone that.
We will
All
not.
right, so Arkansas Runner 2 mile in 2 weeks. I'll get my training runs in between. Today I will be training outside via mowing, and we had a lot of rain Friday, so that should be fun. So I will be doing that today. What are you doing the rest of the day, Michelle?
I do plan on getting on this lovely bike behind me at some point, and then just prepping for the week like I always do on Sundays.
Yeah, I've got enough food for today and tomorrow for sure, so I don't have to do any kind of meal prep thing. My mom is coming into town, coming down from beautiful and relaxing Hiwassee, Arkansas. To hang, I don't know how long she's going to be here. Hopefully, a couple of days, because I'm not going to get to see her much tonight, or for very long. So I'm going to get off here, go mow, and then probably go down to lovely Lone Oak, Arkansas, and hang with them this evening. We'll see what happens. Again, show off my Andy Buschmann. Let me get the exact name here. The Andy Buschmann 4 Mile Classic medal here. I can get it turned the right way. I'm messing this up. Like it's
You
all.
really are. Yeah, for those watching or just listening, it's not
I
going well.
yeah, I butchered that. Um, again, love the medal. Also, the guy because the guy that the race is named after. I love the story that like his daughter was up there kind of running things and describing him. She said after all of his runs, he would have 2 beers on ice waiting for him, just in a little like cooler. So after every run of his, he would polish off a couple of ice cold beers, which I thought was awesome. And that went into the I guess the free beer. It wasn't a free beer. It was like for the from the pizza slash pub place there in Batesville. There was a penny taped to the back of the voucher because, as she described it, since they're in a dry county, you have to pay for it, and so he was just going to charge you that penny.
That's
So, which I thought was neat. And the guy apparently liked playing the guitar. Like this has a model of him like playing the guitar, and of course there's a guitar pick like in the little picture on the medal. And for the national anthem, a guy played the national anthem on his electric guitar, and that was the national anthem before the race. So I thought that was awesome. A+ race experience. Um, well done. Shout out to Batesville. It was good to be back, even for a little bit there. And I will be in Benton in your hood in a couple of weeks. You won't be there, but I will be. But we'll be back in a couple of weeks, talk about that and everything in between. Um, yeah, but until then, I got nothing to add. What about you, Michelle?
nothing to add at this time.
All right, Michelle will probably have about 600 loaves of bread done by then, and maybe we'll get to hear about new flavors and then some. But until then, we'll get out of here and we'll see y'all next time. This is the Tough Runs Don't Last podcast. I'm your host, Grandpa. That's Michelle Vingulis, and we'll see y'all next time.
See ya.